Hey there, and thanks for joining me. Today's video is all about oud fragrances. Now, in your own personal fragrance journey, you've probably gotten to the point where you don't know if you like oud fragrances or not, or if you're going to enjoy them, but you're at least curious about them. And that is very natural because in today's fragrance market, I mean, it's just saturated with oud fragrances. It's become a hugely popular note over the last decade or so. And so you're going to constantly come across fragrances that contain oud or supposedly contain oud. It's kind of funny that a lot of these brands, they will put oud on the bottle, but come to find out they actually contain no oud, or if they do, it's just very, very little, just trace amounts of it. And of course, in when it comes to designer fragrances, more than likely you're not going to be getting an authentic oud to begin with. It's going to be a more synthetic version, and that's fine. I mean, that can give you the general feel of what oud is all about. But typically, with those type of fragrances, with designers, they're going to come across more as, kind of leathery, kind of woodsy. Now, oud normally is used as a base note, so that is fine. I mean, that is good for grounding the fragrance, and for a lot of us, we're big fans of leather, woody fragrances anyway. So that's great. However, when you are dealing with an authentic oud, depending on where it's from, and it can take on various scent profiles. It can be sweet, it can be bitter, it can be very earthy, it can be even skanky, barnyardy. And I think the latter two, is what people have a lot of problem with. They feel like that any oud fragrance is going to come across that way, and that's just not the case at all. It just depends really, again, on where the oud is coming from and how it's used in the composition, what other notes it's put with. That all of those have a huge bearing on how the oud smells. And so what I wanted to do today is, if you are looking to explore oud a little bit more, is just to provide you with some suggestions, some fragrances that can kind of provide you an introduction into the world of oud. These are going to be nice starter fragrances to kind of ease you into it, you could say. And what I like about these that I've chosen, because I did have a lot more that I could have included in this list, but I pared it down to just 7. And with these, I feel like that they cover all the bases. So we talked about all the scent profiles that you can get. Well, these are going to provide that. They're going to provide a little bit different experience where oud is concerned, with each individual fragrance. So that is the reason that I have chosen these 7 today. And also, a good thing about these is that they're very accessible, they're very affordable. These range in price from the low 20s up to probably the mid 50s. So, I think the cheapest one on here, I think I got it for about $22, and the most expensive was like 56, 58 maybe, but that would be your most expensive. So let's go ahead and jump into this list. So why don't we start with our more sweet, gourmandy, very easy to wear ouds. So probably where I would suggest starting, this would be, my recommendation for your very first pickup. It would be Versace Oud Noir. Extremely easy to wear. I mean, this one is just so smooth, and you just have a prominent note of saffron in the. It's a very elegant fragrance, but I feel like, that being said, it's one that can transcend just about any type of setting. Very non-offensive, so you could probably wear this to the office and be just fine. But yeah, this would be kind of like a good jumping off point. Versace Oud Noir. And from there, I would probably venture over to this one, 24 Gold Oud Edition. This falls into that same category as Versace Noir, in the fact that it's a very sweet fragrance, but this kind of heads over into more gourmandish territory with the prominent vanilla cinnamon notes. If I had to compare this to another fragrance, I would probably say that it's a cross between Paco Rabanne's 1 Million Privé and probably Armani's Stronger With You Intensely. It kind of gives you that same vibe. Now, it doesn't have, some of those same elements like, like a caramel type sweetness, but definitely that vanilla, the cinnamon, and some other spices come across very strongly in this one, but it's not overly spicy. I do have a fragrance coming up that fits that category a little more. But again, very non-offensive fragrance. I think this one would do just because of its sweetness. I think it would do very well in a lot of settings. If you're looking for a more woodsy, smoky type of oud fragrance, this would be my recommendation. This is from the brand Lattafa, and it's Ragba Wood Intense. This is a recent pickup for me. I got this along with the original Ragba, which I don't know if you are familiar with that scent or not, but that is a very, very syrupy, sweet fragrance, very heavy on the vanilla. It doesn't have any oud in it. But even though I really, really enjoy that one, in fact, a lot more than I thought I would, because I don't normally gravitate toward those type of really, really sweet scents, I do prefer this one because of the fact that the sweetness is tempered and it has a lot more of those woody elements to it. In fact, in addition to the agar wood, it has 4 other different wood notes in it, including like gaiac wood, sandalwood, cedar, and cashmere wood. And then it has that nice incense note that gives it that smoky vibe. So almost like a really, really nice campfire. If you like fragrances like By the Fireplace by Maison Margiela, you're probably going to enjoy something like this. So this would be a great choice if you're looking for a more woody, spicy, not woody, woody, smoky type of oud fragrance. And this has also a little bit of licorice in it too that gives it a nice little twist. For a really enjoyable oud tobacco combination, I would go for John Varvatos oud. John Varvatos has some really, really good fragrances. I don't care what anybody says. I have a fondness for the brand, and oud is just extremely well done. It's, again, a very easy to wear, very smooth fragrance. But what makes this one interesting to me is the fact that it does have the tobacco in it. In addition, it's got rose and some other florals. It does have some spice in it. And to me, it's the tobacco, and also there's an underlying greenness to it that comes from like the cypress and the juniper berries and all of that just makes this one such a pleasure to wear. I wore this as my scent of the day, I think 2 days ago, and just, every time that I wear it, I'm just I'm surprised anew at how good this is. So again, for an oud tobacco combo, John Varvatos oud would be the way to go. And of course, we need a spicy oud, don't we? This one definitely fits the bill when it comes to that. This one's very spicy, very peppery, and it comes from Swiss Arabian, and it is the Shaghof Oud Abayad. This one is becoming increasingly more popular. I'm seeing this one a lot more in posts on Facebook and Instagram, as I guess people are discovering just how good it is. But again, a great price point for this. It gets compared a lot of times to Amouage Interlude Man, and there are a lot of similarities there, but it's just a very nice, at the base, you've got this really, really heavy incense, but it's the spices, it's that pepper that really sets this one apart and makes it really, really nice. This isn't one, kind of like the rest of these have been. They're very what I would call transitional fragrances. You could wear them in just about any setting. This one is going to be a little bit more challenging when it comes to that. I don't think that this is, appropriate to wear maybe to work and, other instances where you're going to be really close to people. But, definitely if you do enjoy more of that type of scent, dark, incensey, very, very spicy, I think you would definitely enjoy the Shaghoff Oud Abayan. So check that out. This next one is probably my favorite out of this list of 7, just because it's got a lot of leather in it, and of course I love leather, but it seems to be the most well-rounded too. It kind of covers a lot of bases. This composition does, and it is Rasasi's La Yugawam Tobacco Blaze. So I know we've already covered a tobacco fragrance. Well, it's okay because this one actually doesn't have a bit of tobacco in it. It's not listed as a note, so I don't know why they chose to call it Tobacco Blaze. Now, I do kind of get a tobacco type vibe, but mostly what I get is the leather. And there is some fruitiness to it. There is some floral. So that's kind of why I said I just find it to be a well-rounded type composition. You get like just so much from this, and it is one that is just extremely easy to reach for. I find myself going back to this one again and again and again. And I picked this up the same time as I did the Pour Homme from the La Yugawam collection. And though I do prefer that one just a little bit more because I'm just, as I mentioned in one of my last videos, I'm really fascinated right now by that raspberry note. So it's raspberry leather. It gets compared to Tom Ford's Tuscan leather. So yeah, I do find that one, just a little bit more enjoyable, but this one is just excellent. I really feel like it should be a staple in any guy's collection. And finally, we're going to talk about the most popular, the most typical oud combo that you're going to come across, and that is rose and oud. So for that, I have selected Banana Republic's Oud Mosaic. Haven't really had a lot of exposure to Banana Republic fragrances up to this point. Heard a lot of good things about several of them, including Oud Mosaic, so I thought I would give it a shot. And yes, I was pleasantly surprised by this. I think this provides a nice introduction to that rose oud combo. This gets compared to Dior Oud Ispahan, in fact, and I can see where people are coming from with that. But you've got your rose, you've got patchouli, you've got sandalwood, cedar, and then of course your oud with this. Actually, it smells, it smells pretty complex. I mean, to have so few notes, and for it to be a designer, to be from Banana Republic, I'm not knocking them at all. I don't know, for some reason, I just never imagined that their fragrances would be that good. But yeah, I was pretty shocked at this one, and I think definitely it would be a good starter fragrance, a good introduction for you to try if you are into that oud rose type of fragrance. Now, I've heard some people they do find the oud rose thing a little challenging. I personally love it, so I don't really understand why it would be challenging, but I mean, that's just me. So, but I mean, if you think that would be up your alley, I would definitely give this a try. So yeah, those are just my recommendations for some nice oud fragrances to start out with. Hope that you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for stopping by, and don't forget to leave me some comments down below. Until the next time, I'll see you.